Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Zoe's Treasures. My name's Tracy, and as always, here with my husband, Noel. He's in the background running our graphics and our cameras. Hello, I love discounts. Hello, what is this? Lana Banana. I love the name. Tadpoles, Natalie. Good morning, everybody. We are doing our Wednesday chat and sell, so just talking about whatever, as usual. So anything on your mind, throw that in there. If there's something you saw this week, something on Whatnot, and you're like, what the what? Throw that in the chat. We'll talk about it. I do have some stuff listed in the auction tab, so we'll get to that eventually. And read the show notes. We've got our rewards cards for the day in the show notes. So that's pretty much all that's going on. Shipping is $4.50 max. And that's all the housekeeping stuff. That's all the opening speech there. So what is going on with everybody this wonderful Wednesday morning? I'll tell you what, I am exhausted. Today was one of those days. I woke up this morning, and one of the first thoughts when I woke up is, when can I schedule a nap? Like, that was seriously, I wasn't even out of bed before I was planning on when I can climb back into the bed this morning. Anybody ever do that? You wake up and you're like, when can I take a nap today? I love discounts. Yes. I bet you guys work nonstop. You guys are like on the go constantly with a ton of late nights too. So seeing I Love Discounts name makes me think, of course, our podcast that we have every Sunday night. Hello, Kim. Our podcast on Sunday nights, if you guys are not familiar, I Love Discounts, which is Tony and Lysandra, myself, Zoe's Treasures, and then Green 13, which is Jeremy. We come together every Sunday night to do a podcast. It is called the Reselling Roundtable. It is on YouTube. So if you are not following it, y'all just you got to go over there and follow it. Like, there's just no questions about it. And come see us on Sundays at 6:30. Every week we start off with like a planned topic. And then we start off with a planned topic. And then we usually divert to all kinds of stuff based on what's happening in the chat. People ask questions. And what's so awesome about it is you get 3 different people, 3 different opinions. Sometimes we agree, but we apply things in a completely different manner. So definitely check that out. This week, too, I'm kind of excited. We take turns on who like talks first, on who kicks it off. Because when you have 4 people, you got to have some semblance of order, or else we're just talking over each other, right? So this week, I get to kick it off. And what am I missing? Good morning, the Vintage Gypsy Bree. Wise old bag lady. Hello. We are going to talk about challenges on Whatnot and how to overcome them. None of us ever want to get, we don't. We argue about whose turn it is. We finally, after like week 2, we had to say, look, we're going in order. Here's the order. And so like last week, everybody was like, Tracy, it's your turn. Next week, you got it. I'm like, okay. So we love to talk. We all of us love to talk and give our opinions about things, but none of us want to start the show. So I'm going to be starting the show this week, and we're going to talk about challenges, various challenges, things that happen on Whatnot, and how do you overcome them. And maybe not just Whatnot, because we talk about the other platforms too, because we could talk more freely there. We're not bound by terms of service there. Oh, okay. I'm like, what's going on? You're looking at my chat. That's my husband talking to people. Okay. So speaking of challenges, on Monday, one of the challenges, I'm not going to say a lot now because I'm going to really expand on Sunday for you to come in here. But I feel that the powers that be were like, Tracy, you need something to talk about. Because Sunday night we decided we were talking about challenges and how to overcome them. And then Monday in this show, I had a very rude person in my show making a very rude comment. And it was one of those challenges. So I'm not going to say like what we did. It wasn't that big. If you're here, you saw what happened. But Sunday night, I'm going to go into details and talk a little bit about that. And just those type of challenges, things like customer service. What do you do about refunds? What do you do about rude people or people who block you? Or I got a whole list of stuff that we could talk about, different challenges. And I know Tony and Lysandra and Jeremy probably have lists and things on their list that aren't on mine. I put this back down. Thank you so much. I love discounts. I think I like to think I handled that pretty decently, but you know, everybody has opinions. So coming up tonight, actually, before we do that, let's do a giveaway, CEO affirmation card and vintage postcard for our giveaways. And then Coming up tonight is another jewelry show. We are, I don't know, what show are we on? 5, 6 of jewelry now. We started doing jewelry in January, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. This has been a hard venture. We've been on Whatnot a little over 2 years, and breaking into a new category. We've only done vintage estate sale categories, which to me, vintage estate sale storage, they're all kind of similar. You can kind of all lump them into the same category. You just may get a little more variety, like in storage units, you're not sure what you're going to get. But we all kind of operate the same, right? Just like in clothing, men and women's, it's still clothing. Jewelry, though, is a completely different story. And, I got to give so much credit to those jewelry sellers out there that not the ones who are doing dollar starts, they get credit too. Every seller gets, is worthy of praise. But the jewelry sellers who are out there, and they're not low start people, that they're the, $100 or more start people, and they're making sales consistently every show. Just, hands down admiration to these people, because it's when you're charging higher prices, you're not getting those sales every single time. Like you can go 2 or 3 shows and not have a sale, and to be able to keep up the mental fortitude to work through that is really tough and takes a lot. So they blow me away when I watch them. Our prices aren't, we do have some higher end jewelry, but tonight everything starts at $19, all sterling silver, tested 925. So that's what's happening tonight. We've got some new stuff. We just, one of our vendors just supplied us with a bunch of new stuff. So looking forward to doing that tonight. And then after that, I'm not too sure. We're kind of, I don't want to give up on jewelry. I'm not nowhere near the point of giving up, but we're like, what are we doing with it, right? So that's that. Anything on your guys' minds? What are you thinking about? What have you seen on Whatnot this week? What's been great? What's been like, I have something to show you. My husband's been working hard in the background. Thankful to have found your show. Oh, thank you so much, Crow's Cottage. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. We have something we've been working on. I kind of announced it on Monday. I told you a little bit about it. 5 shows is not enough. How many shows did you do before Felt Momentum with vintage? Oh yeah, 5 shows definitely is not enough. I'm not ready to give up. And to be honest, with vintage decor, it took months. It probably took me a good, almost, I would say close to a year before I felt that I was gaining traction. I mean, I was having viewers and I was meeting goals that were very low, like small goals. But before I really felt like I turned a corner and I'm like, wow, I think I finally got my footing here on vintage, that took close to a year for me. And it's not, we all see it. There's certain people that are come on Whatnot and they just seem to blow up. They just seem to instantly be big. And if you're new, you come on and you see a big seller, you haven't seen their progressions. But I'm talking like House of Coup. All of a sudden, their name was everywhere. But what you're not seeing behind them is they started shortly before I did. And I remember watching them when they didn't show their faces, when they weren't making sales, that they had the same struggles as everybody else. Then they did Vintage Wars, which really propelled them. So the Vintage Wars is what was a turning point that really got their name out there. But sometimes we'll see people who come on and they do shoot to the top right away, but you don't know what's behind it. You don't know if they have been doing TikTok lives or whatever for years and years and years, that if they brought social media over. And you know what? Sometimes people are just lucky. And just because they're lucky doesn't mean that they're any better than anybody else or any better of a seller than you are or I am. They're just lucky. It's like, Steve Jobs started in his garage, or Bill Gates. That's what I want to say. I want to see people's first show and growth to get them there. Yeah, you never see. I mean, my first show was an absolute disaster, absolute mess of a show. It takes time. It does. Like in normal, we like to, as human nature, we like to cling to a hope and a dream and the fast fix and the quick and easy win. And in addition, there is a whole generation of people that were raised that everybody gets participation trophies and everybody gets to move at the same pace. And that's not the real world. So, yes, would you like to say good morning, my love, over there? You guys, He does this. Oh, who's going to win the giveaway? Let's see. And I'll tell you what he's over there doing. Jill, you got that giveaway. Thanks for being here this morning.
Congratulations. Good morning.
Oh, that's all he's going to say. So, and all those who are married, y'all know the struggle. I understand wanting to add a new category. I don't want to add it to my vintage and minis. I'll eventually want to add. Yeah, I think adding a new category. Let's see. I understand wanting to add, a new category. I don't want to add it to your vintage and minis. I want to add another profile. Okay, kind of that's two parts. I think adding a new category is absolutely okay. And I think you should do it. Be prepared for it's like you're starting all over again, especially if it's a drastic difference in category. It's like you are starting fresh to some degree. Adding another profile, I would question why. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I would question why another profile. If you're taking all the time to build up followers and supporters and people who know you under Noelle's World, why would you go to another name that people don't know you? I think it's almost like making it harder for yourself. It just doesn't make sense to have another category. Now, it does make sense if you have enough of a team and you want to stream both shows simultaneously. That makes sense because on just your one user account, you can only do one show at any given time, right? So if you have enough people, a big enough team where you can do two shows simultaneously because you're running that long and that many hours, it makes perfect sense. If you're just trying to do some type of experiment and see what happens, it makes sense. But if you're just wanting to add a new product line, a new category to your revenue, just have a new revenue stream, to me, adding a whole new profile doesn't make sense. Because I think, like, if I look at your name, Noelle's World, that doesn't tie you into anything. To me, that's broad. You could sell anything with that. It's not like you're saying Noelle's World of t-shirts, That's just my opinion. I just feel mixing gets confusing. I hope to separate. I see big sellers on here who are doing a new profile. Yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced of the business case for it. Because you're losing. So take a department store. Take Target's a perfect example, okay? They sell clothing, household goods, probably a little bit of automotive. I'm sure they have a section in there with like automotive type things and grocery. I'm trying to think of what else. At pharmacies, they have a Starbucks inside there. They have very distinct revenue lines within one umbrella. So, and it's still Target. What they market and what they brand is Target. The minute you create another entity, like another profile on here, now you're divided. I don't know how big your team is. Like if you have a big team, I think that makes a huge difference because you have people to divide out and focus. But it's hard enough branding yourself and bringing awareness to who you are is just one name on here. Now you're dividing all your efforts and you're having to market here. Like, what do you log on when you go into shows? Which one are you going to log on? Which one are you going to promote? To me, it complicates things. If you're really huge already, if you're already really, really big, then maybe that marketing and branding isn't so important because you have such a huge following and people coming to your shows. So maybe it's not an important thing. As anything in business, there's not a one-size-fits-all answer. It's let's think through all the pros and cons and how does it fit into your strategy. What does Wise Old Bag Lady say? I think some of the big sellers are doing new profiles because of the follower numbers maxed out. Yeah. Well, it wasn't stuck. Yeah, it's definitely not stuck in one category. And Julia, and then a vintage, yeah. I like that too. Ash Thomas doing different things on different days, definitely different shows. Not mixing. I would never suggest mixing different product lines in one show. It just doesn't make sense, like different revenue streams. It confuses people. But for a perfect example, Green 13 has started another channel. It hasn't really grown a whole lot, but it's Blue 13. But Blue 14, sorry. Part of his strategy is, though, to run shows simultaneously all day long. Well, he can't run two Green 13 shows, so he runs a Green 13 and a Blue 14. But again, you do what's best for you. Like, everybody has to do what's best for their own business. I'm always going to come and try to play devil's advocate in the sense of, well, think about this, think about this, think about this. And then once you think about everything, you make the best decision for you.
Thank you, Miss Liz. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, what Liz likes. Good morning. I find it difficult. I mean, the marketing side of this is hard. I've been trying to post on Instagram every single day. And this is a great thing to talk about really quick. So I've been posting something very small. I have well, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And honestly, I am not the end all be all to anything. And I do not expect everybody to take my advice. I just throw stuff out there.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
morning, mamas. So I'm looking at you got to talk more. People like to hear you, my love. He's so shy over there. I was saying earlier, when I get on a rampage, when I get rolling here and get up on my soapbox about something, as any married couple knows, he sits over there and he's going, enough. And I always tell him, I'm like, just because you've heard this 50 million times because you live with me doesn't mean other people have heard this.
Very true, White Soapback Lady. It's logistics times probably more than 2. You have to answer messages. You have to do the customer service. Same thing for both profiles.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a lot of work. One profile is a lot of work. And as I was just saying, I've been trying to post on Instagram. I am not a absolute firm believer that you have to have social media to be successful on Whatnot. I think you can be very successful on Whatnot without having a large social media presence. But does social media, can it help you? Can it bring more people to your platform? Absolutely. The more people who know about you, the more chance of people showing up in your Whatnot shows. 100%. Is it necessary? I don't think so. There are plenty of examples of sellers on here who are like, I don't have the time or the desire to do social media, and they're making very good money doing their thing and feeling very successful with themselves and their performance. However, this year, I am really focused on, I've been following your mental load. Oh, good. So the only reason, so last year I barely did any social media. It was hit and miss. It was when I felt like it, when I felt I had time, I did it, but I didn't put any pressure on myself. This year, I've decided to really grow my tax and accounting business, building a base to grow for future. I have plans for 2027 and 2028, and part of those plans mean that this year I need to really grow my accounting side of my business, my tax accounting focus. Goal for 2026, awesome. So part of growing that is posting on social media, but I had to find an easy way to post on social media. I'm not going to do silly dances. I'm not going to do voiceovers or spend hours editing. I don't have the time, don't want to do it. I needed to find a way that I can do social media in 5 minutes or less a day, or even every couple of days. So this isn't new. Some of you may already know about this. I found it on a YouTube video or something that I was watching, and I've been doing this and it's been working. No more drummer boy. No, I have this year, kind of side note really quick on dressing up. I am not doing trains this year where I have to dress up. I think they're fun. I love to watch them. I will definitely follow along all my favorite people and watch them and maybe meet some new sellers. I found last year, I did a couple of trains last year where I dressed up. The exception being a Halloween, because I love Halloween and I may just dress up for that anyways. Thank you so much. I found though that I was buying props and buying stuff just for a show, and it went against my own belief, and I'm not going to buy anything just to do a show. If I buy something, it has to have a multiple use. No, I will not do the karaoke Ray Train. And it's just not, it was very outside of my comfort zone. I am not I can have a good time like the rest of them, but it's just not me. And I felt very uncomfortable and very just not even pushing myself. Like I didn't feel I was pushing myself for growth. I felt I was pushing myself to fit in a box to meet somebody else's expectation instead of pushing myself to be better for me. So that's why I've decided not to do those type of rate trains this year.
For those of you who are on YouTube and listening in, you can always come and join us on the Whatnot app. if you follow the QR code.
Yes, I'm getting there. Bubble Fizz, T-Bubble Fizz. Okay, so on social media, it's taking me 5 minutes a day. This is the trick that I learned from YouTube or whatever. If you go to create a list of things, like if you're doing facts, right now I'm doing 100 days of accounting of live selling truths, live selling facts. I'm on day 15, I think. So you can use ChatGPT in a good way to help come up with a list of things. I don't think you should use ChatGPT for full-fledged everything, but to come up with ideas and a list of points. So like maybe you're a clothing seller and you want to do ways to pick good vintage clothing. 100 ways to pick good vintage clothing or 10 ways to pick good vintage clothing, and get short sentences, just like a list of things. And then you can go through and edit those. Not having to buy one-time use item. Yes, absolutely. So then you can go through, edit it, get a list. You can then create a standard post in Canva. So then go to Canva. You can create a standard post in Canva. And there is a way to merge your list, put your list in Excel, and you can merge your Excel list into your Canva template. And it'll create, say if you did 10, it'll create 10 separate posts for you. Then all you have to do is every day edit one of them. You change the background on it, maybe change the music or something. So I don't have TikTok or Instagram. I don't have a social media following. So do you think that would keep me from being sick? Not at all. Robin's favorite thing, that's what I was saying earlier, 100% no. You could be successful on Whatnot with zero social media. Does social media, can it be a helpful tool? Absolutely. But you don't have to have it. I'm contemplating a chat show to interview sellers, cool, and possibly buyers, interview, co-host setting, dialogue, showcase. I think that's great, Wise Old Bag Lady. I love chat shows. Chat shows are probably my favorite over selling shows. I watch selling shows too, but I don't like to spend money all the time. I love the chat shows. I love learning. I love information. And sometimes I love the ones that are just like, let me hear about you. I just want to know what's going on in your life, So chat shows are great. My only advice on chat shows, if you are newer, and I just say newer, let's say less than 1,000 sales, just to kind of put some number around it. Don't do a seller support show. You're still a baby on Whatnot. And I'm saying this in the nicest way, because this is how you're viewed from people who have been around for a while. That when I see somebody with less than 1,000 sales doing a seller support show, I'm like, what advice are you giving? Like, you're still learning. You're going from the crawling to the walking stage and getting your footing under you. What advice are you giving? So if you're a little bit newer, I would say do that type of show where you're interviewing people, you're just talking, you're introducing yourself, you're chit-chatting, not so much an advice. It's more, I would take a different approach for the newer people. The optics of it is a lot better. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. This is kind of a common opinion. So the optics are better. Or do something based on your expertise. I didn't do seller support shows at the beginning. When I first started, about 4 months in, I started doing tax shows because I feel that I had the education, work experience, life experience to do tax shows. So rely on your expertise, or like you said, like you're interviewing people, you're just chit-chatting, you're doing that type of thing. But so I didn't know how long you've been on here, but you've been on for 3 years. So you kind of cross this threshold where it's like, no, I've been around a while. I've seen enough. I always equate it to like a 20-year-old trying to give advice compared to a 50-year-old. There's a vast difference of knowledge and experience in that, right? Not that the 20-year-old is wrong or dumb or anything like that. There's just a vast difference of experience. All right, did I miss any other questions? Let me see. I think I'm caught up. I'm good? Okay, thank you. Y'all, this is what's so great about having like a second person.
The Aaron Sphere is in the house.
The Aaron Sphere. We're going to run another giveaway too. You guys, I just got to call out the Aaron Sphere in case you just don't know.
Good morning, Mrs. B. Hugs.
I could do it without studying the Whatnot Guidelines book. You guys, I've got to call out the Aaron Sphere. He sells sewing notions, sewing patterns, fabrics, stuff like that. Maybe he might start making like other things to sell, like things because he's very talented himself in creating things. However, even if you don't buy those, it is one of the most entertaining shows to watch. I will put it on almost like it's a chat show in the background. One, he has a very soothing, he has a radio voice. He has that voice that's very soothing. And he's funny as all get out, you guys. Just absolutely hilarious. At first, my husband wasn't listening, and I'm like, you got to check this guy out. You got to listen to him. And now I cannot tell you how many times I walk in the room, and my husband's on listening to Aaron's show because he thinks he's hilarious too. He did dollar starts and 5-second sudden death last night. That is getting way out of the comfort zone. Congratulations. That's cool. Yeah, definitely. If you guys don't know, I would absolutely. It's just very entertaining. And what do you know? You may need a zipper, 8-inch zipper someday. You just don't know. Okay, what else are we talking about? You did, yeah, cool. So using ChatGPT in a way, like you can create a list. Again, I'm going back to that quick posting. And then you do a template on Canva. If you guys want, if you're interested in this, I can't remember the YouTube video, but shoot me a DM. I'm happy to write the steps that I did to get there. And again, not original idea. I saw it on YouTube. I copied it and it's working for me. I spend less than 5 minutes a day being able to post a post in my area of like what I'm focused on Instagram, but it's merging it. There's a tool on Canva that you can merge them. I don't know if it works on the free version of Canva. I have the paid one, so I don't know. I can't tell you if it works on the free one or not. But it has made posting for me on social media so much easier, because if I have to spend any more than 5 minutes, I'm not doing it. That was like my big thing about it, was it has to be super easy for me to do it and not time consuming. My husband's reminding me, I talked about this on Monday. We have free is limited. Okay. Yeah, I think Canva is well worth the money that it costs each month. I don't even know, how much do we pay? Like $20 or $10? 20. Yeah, it well worth it. If you guys don't have it, that is definitely in my opinion, a very good investment to have. You can do so much more. Can you repeat what type of RT you won't? Oh, what type of rate trains I won't do this year? Like 100 a year. Oh yeah, that's not bad. This year, I am not doing raid trains that I have to dress up in costumes or play a part of a character. It's just not me. I did a couple of them last year. The only exception may be Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, and we dress up in the house anyways. That's like a normal time for us to dress up. But I will not do raid trains that require me to source specifically for that train. If it is a train on animals and I don't have a bunch of animal stuff in my stock, I'm not doing the train. If I'm, for the most part, staying away from trains that are 30 minutes or less, I don't find they're profitable enough for me. I don't find that I can sell enough products to make it worth my time. Let's go back up. Most educators know this, but just in case, Canva is free. Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Thank you, Found with Vintage. So you guys, if you are in any of the education field, definitely check that out. That is great news. That was weird. Interested to see this last weekend. Yeah. Maybe you should try maybe I should try the Big Kahunas. Yeah, maybe I should. If you guys don't know, well, real quick, we'll get to Big Kahunas. Let me finish my list first, since somebody asked. No dressing up, no trains that require me to source, no trains less than 30 minutes unless it's Battle of the Best, which I'm still not doing every month. I'll do it throughout the year if I have if I have something to sell on it. And that's pretty much it. And no trains, honestly, I'm going to be honest with this. This may be a very unpopular opinion. But look, it's the truth and it's whatnot. And I know you guys all experience too. So how unpopular it is, people will relate. There are certain sellers that I don't believe in their ethics and their business practices. These certain sellers have raid trains. I will not be on a seller's raid train if I do not agree with them as a seller. It doesn't mean I have to agree with everything about them. Did you get the plaques all good? And they got you in one piece. I was so worried about that.
I did the packing.
Yes, I had my husband pack those. He's an extra, like on a super fragile. Found with Love Vintage, you got that giveaway. Congratulations. On like look, I'm a pretty decent packer. I do say so myself. But on things that are extra, I'm like, I want him to pack it because he goes way overboard, which some certain things need overboard. Saying all that about raid trains. You're very welcome. So what I was saying is that, and I see the advice for getting on raid trains. I will answer that in 1 second. There's certain sellers that I just don't agree because the way they do their shipping, and they publicly announce to teach people to do shipping wrong, or you go in their listings and they are blatantly violating terms of service. There's certain things like that on specific sellers that do run trains. And if they ask me for some reason, and I have turned a seller down for this before, I just won't, because I believe in that it's kind of a represent. I'm not going to say somebody's name over and over. If you ever hear me call out a name of somebody's name, I can honestly say you can go to this person. I don't think you're going to get ripped off. I kind of believe in what they do. Does that mean I agree with every business practice they have? No. But as a general rule, if you hear me say it, I'm going to put my word and my name behind that. And that's how I feel about raid trains too. I feel it's a show of my support. So, tips for getting on a raid train. So I'm going to answer that, and then we're going to talk about another really cool, unique train coming up. Get on a raid train. First of all, follow some of the trains that you like. So if you're, whatever category you're in, whatever you sell, if you see things, if you see like a primitive raid train, or a kitchen gadget raid train, whatever it is that you see and you're like, oh wow, I sell that stuff, I like that, I would like to be on that train. Follow it, figure out who the conductor is, get a feel for the train a little bit, at least watch a couple of the shows, get a feel for it, and then message that conductor. Introduce yourself. Hey, my name's such and such. I've been on Whatnot this long. I sell these types of items. I saw you were doing a train. If you ever have openings, I would love to be considered for a future train. Very nice, professional, introduction type DM in their on their Whatnot messaging. Do not just put in there, can I be on your train? It's a little frustrating as a conductor myself when I get a message that says, can I be on your train, with nothing else? And it's like, I don't even know you. Are you even following me? So I feel a little bit more, it just kind of creates that good impression.
You can also check
Yes.
CG Boomerang Echo. There's her profile, and she actually has a Raid Train 101 talk and chat that is going to be tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to check it out, she gives really good advice. She tells you what you need to know about the raid trains. And not only that, she also has a website that gives you the names of some of the conductors or the ones that she recommends on the app.
Mm-hmm. And he was one step ahead of me, because that was the next person I was going to recommend to go to. But he knows that's where I was going. She's amazing. And like you said, you can go to her chat show. She also runs a million rain trains. Her and I do big kahunas together. That was the one. I Love Discounts, who happens to like long walks on the beach, listening to Spanish guitar and handwritten love letters. You're just stealing my heart. I Love Discounts. Big Kahunas. CG and I run the Big Kahunas raid train. So if you guys haven't seen the Big Kahunas, this is like it sounds. The Big Kahunas. We do it once a month, the last Tuesday of every month. You have to have 15,000 in sales, 20,000 followers, 4.8 rating, 2-day or less shipping, and it's by invite only. We have a list. We're about to start sending invites out next week. For the next month, it goes on every single month, and I think you got to go over to the hamburger menu on the left-hand side to find it. And it's the big guys. You get 6 to 8 people. They come and battle it out. And whoever wins Big Kahunas keeps that title as long as they possibly can. They're invited back month after month to defend their title. As long as they have that title, they will be on the show to keep defending it. So this is the top dog right there of Whatnot. And it is cross-category. And that's the other thing, you guys. If you can get on cross-category trains, trains are awesome for marketing. I personally never look at trains as a money-making opportunity. Now, I know I just said if I can't do a train 30 minutes or more because of money, I won't do it. There is a money component to it. Anytime you're selling, there's a money component to it. So it's part of a variable, part of a consideration. But trains are huge for marketing, getting your name out there. So think about this. Consider this when you're accepting trains or creating trains if you're going to conduct one. A cross-category train is the best way for marketing. Because if you just stay in a train within your category, if you're just on a train that you're sell vintage, and I'm only going to be on a train that's vintage focused with vintage sellers, who's going to see you? All the vintage people that already you're marketing to. If you want to expand your marketing reach, you want a cross-category train that has some clothing and has some plant and maybe some crystal people and maybe some handmade people. Because then people who don't normally go into vintage may be on that train and see you and be like, wow, this person's pretty cool. I didn't even realize I liked vintage. I got to go check them out. I have met so many cool people on cross-country. I always say cross-country. Cross-category trains. I highly recommend them. Almost any train that I will conduct will always be a cross-category. Yep, Atlanta's been as you're realizing that too. We got invited once, but we only had one show, and I was not, Found with Love Vintage. Go to CG Stuff. She has some trains too for people who are a little bit newer. Absolutely. Check her out.
Good morning, Kimmy. And Found with Love, and for anybody else that has the same question, here's the website again. It's boomerangecho.com, and you can see right there the featured train coordinators.
Yep. So if you're looking for a train, go follow these people and introduce yourself to these people. Go on their shows, get to know them. There's a lot of other conductors out there. Those are ones that CG stands behind. She also has people that she stands behind on chat shows. So on her website, you can see who are people that she feels are trustworthy people to give information on chat shows. And look at Mary. I think Mary Lacken here makes a great point. No social media, no Ray trains, and she's still doing very well for herself on Whatnot. Ray trains are fun. They're cool. They're exciting. It's a little bit of a twist. It's something different to do. It is not necessary. It is just like giveaways. There is nothing besides going live on Whatnot that is, even going live isn't necessary. You're not going to get too far if you don't go live, but there's almost nothing that is necessary because somebody else is doing it. You need to evaluate that for your business. I don't do Ray trains. Okay, cool. Speaking of Ray trains, we have a new one. I announced it on Monday. I've been doing the new seller surge every single month for new sellers. It's the last Wednesday of the month. March is going to be our final month. We do have a full list of people and one or two people as backups already for March. After March, I'm going to be retiring the new seller surge because we're kind of, as my business strategy, I'm moving into a different focus. Good morning, Burlap Barn. So coming in April, next month.
Good morning, Brittany.
Just
Good morning, Burlap Barn.
Hi, Brittany. So coming in April, I am going to be kicking off the most unique Ray train. It is unlike anything you've ever seen on Whatnot, and it aligns with my brand and it aligns with what I'm doing. I may be doing this in conjunction with somebody. We're in talks right now, but right now I'm just going to say me. By next week, that may change. It may be in partnership with somebody. We will see. But right now, the CEO Challenge is coming in April. Let's take a look at this and give you an idea of what it is.
Six sellers growing, learning, building through weekly challenges, building the business, not just the show. Welcome to the CEO Challenge.
That is our CEO Challenge coming next month. As it said, we're going to limit it to 6 sellers. Applications will be out on Friday the 13th. So this is an application, it's by application, which means there's going to be a few questions to answer and the application will have a couple of questions, nothing complicated, nothing hard, like 3 or 4 questions. And then it's going to list out kind of like what you're agreeing to do, what's going to happen during the month. It is a month-long challenge. It is not like the challenges you see that it's, go live every day for 30 days. This is about the seller growing themselves, being better than they were at the end of the month than they were at the beginning of the month, building their businesses, like the tagline says, building the business, not just the show, laying the foundation. So 6 sellers will be selected. Again, next Friday, Friday 13th, I will have announcing where the application can be either downloaded or sent to you. Those little details are still being worked out. And then starting in April, what's going to happen, kind of the outline, kind of the structure of this is there will be a weekly private whatnot show with me, with the sellers, where we go over a business kind of topic and what the weekly challenge is. So we talk about, it's going to be a very small little private show. We talk about what the challenge is, and it could be pick a metric that you're going to measure for the month. It may be learning how to do a strong intro or outro. So we will spend 30 minutes to an hour really digging into what this challenge is, what does it mean. Throughout the course of the week, the sellers will be doing their normal shows. They do their thing, but within their normal shows, they're practicing, they're working on this challenge. Then once a week, it's going to be on Tuesday evenings. Wednesday evenings. Did I say Tuesday or Wednesdays? I'm pretty sure it's going to be Tuesday evenings. We are Tuesday evenings. Yes, it's going to be on Tuesday evenings. We are going to have what we call the challenge night, the CEO challenge night. So for 4 weeks, all the sellers are going to come together, and it's going to be like a raid trade format for about 2 to 3 hours, where I will kick it off. I'm going to talk about the challenge, and this is the night. This is where all the audience comes in. This is going to be like a reality TV show every Tuesday night. You get to come and see these sellers, these 6 sellers. They will either do a chat style show where they're talking about what they're measuring, the metric, the changes they've made in their business, what they started with, what they changed to, or they're going to showcase their skills. They're going to sell for 15 to 20 minutes, and they're going to practice a good intro, a good outro, pricing with confidence, transitions, all of these things that we need to do to build strong businesses.
Good morning, our Reworkers Passion.
Hello, Reworkers Passion, Miss Leslie. So they get to showcase their skills, and then we wrap it up at the end of the evening with kind of like a review of what happened. And we repeat it for 4 weeks in a row. During this time, we're going to be taking clips, we're going to be recording, and we're going to be showing the growth of these sellers. This is about helping 6 people become the real CEO of their business. It ties in directly to what I teach every Friday, and it's going to be based on those same business concepts. Very, very different than anything you've seen. There's also going to be an audience component where everybody, if you are not one of the 6, can be involved. There's going to be something you can download for free to do your own challenge right along with everybody else. So I'm hoping to do this on a regular basis, but the first one's being kicked off, CEO Challenge, in April. And I am very excited about it because it is so different. Nobody else is doing it. And I think it really is a community focused. I love battle trains. I love Battle of the Best. I love like where you're like battling it out with somebody else, but it isn't always about us being against somebody else. It's about us versus us, right? You versus you, making a better version of yourself, making your business stronger. And I wanted something that really focused in on that concept. So it looks like some of you are excited about this, so I'm happy about that. You're not interested in a battle or a war. Yeah, I mean, so even if you're like, hey, that sounds cool, I don't want to be on it, at least come and watch it when it does debut in April. So as we go on throughout the rest of this month, again, more and more details will be like kind of released as they form. I actually sent the person I want to partner with, I sent them a 6-page write-up of everything, very detailed. I sent them like a business plan for this challenge. So they're reviewing it. We're discussing it to see if we want to partner, if this is going to be something I do on my own. So that's that. I do have some stuff in the auction tab. If you guys are interested, it's there ready for pre-bids if you want. I'm just kind of watching. Usually on these shows, I just run it if there's pre-bids. That way we're just focused on chatting and the stuff people are actually interested in. Let me do another giveaway though. All right, that giveaway is going. The giveaways are for a CEO affirmation card and a vintage postcard today. So that's what our giveaways are for. What else? Oh, I've got something to talk about. Y'all, if there's anything that's on your mind, something you want to talk about, throw it in there, because if not, I'm just rambling. ChatGPT. I talked earlier how you can use it to help with your social media. I have found another amazing way that I have been using recently, and I've used it enough to be like, this is really good. So if you know me, shipping is a little confusing. What's the best shipping choice? Carol. Okay, we'll talk about ChatGPT in a second. Carol, The easiest shipping choice is what Whatnot already has set up. There are so many people out there that tell you, yes, and my husband's like, what do you sell? I don't, honestly, okay, the first thing, a lot of people who's doing like a seller support, if you ask a shipping question, the first question they're going to ask you is, what do you sell? And then they may come with some specific recommendations based on what you're selling. I take a different approach. I don't care what you sell, not in a bad way. Like, I'm sure it's wonderful. But when you ask the question, I don't care in my response to the question, because, and this is why I don't think it matters what you sell. Whatnot has a wonderful shipping setup. It is very simple. We as sellers tend to overcomplicate it. If you are doing buyer pays all shipping, okay, I'm going with buyer pays all. You weigh your item, you weigh it in a box with whatever type of packing that item requires. You see how much it weighs. That's what you list your item for. You make sure the weight of the item matches how much it would actually weigh to ship it. So if you have an item that's 1 pound, or let's say an item that's 12 ounces, but by the time you put it in a box, it's 1 pound, whatever ounces, you put it in the 1 to 5 pound range or 1 to whatever pound range, okay? Use the system that Whatnot has, and don't try to overcomplicate it. Don't try to do anything else. Let Whatnot bundle your stuff for you, unbundle it in the way it needs to unbundle it. Just rely on Whatnot. After you get that down, it's a really good system. Whatnot has some really good technology behind their shipping, okay? It may unbundle. People get confused. They're like, well, I don't understand why it unbundled this and didn't unbundle that. Don't worry about it. It's their system in the background. Their system is programmed to know what is the best and most advantageous way to ship. So if your buyer is paying all, let Whatnot do the work. Use the system the way it was designed. Then, after you have done a few shows, you feel comfortable with that, you can go and look at custom profiles, start talking to people like, okay, I sell clothing. What are you doing how are you doing flat rate shipping and clothing, whatever. Then you can start trying to get fancy, but learn the basics. I almost never switch off the basics. The only time I change is when I'm doing like a free shipping, reduced shipping shows. Any tips when you have to do shipping profile for an item and it's really expensive to ship? If it's really expensive and you're asking your buyer to pay that expense, that's the time when I say do a custom profile and put in the right weight, put in the right thing, put a custom profile. Understand though, if you have a custom profile, and this is why I say it gets complicated and I don't do it that often because to me it's not worth it. When you do a custom profile and then you also have a regular, so if you have an item A and you assign custom profile number 1 to that item, and then you have item B over here and you're using just regular Whatnot shipping, I just put the weight in, I'm not doing any custom. Those will never combine together. A custom profile will never ever combine with the regular one. So what you're telling your buyers are, the minute you buy this, shipping is going to start all over down here. That can be expensive. So when you're using custom profiles, make sure in my opinion, if you're relying mainly on the Whatnot system, but just using them sparingly for big items, tell the buyer, or making sure it's a one item thing. It's a one item. If you have a large vase and look, there's nothing else going in this box. I'm packing this vase by itself. Nothing else is going in there. It weighs 10 pounds. I'm setting up a custom profile. Make sure you put in your description, single item, single boxed item will ship by itself. So people know what they're expecting. It's very confusing. What I feel is that it gets confusing on the buyer side, but if you just pick one thing, this is why I love reduced shipping so much. It's $4.50 for me. I do $4.50. You can pick whatever number works for you. And that's easy. I did that. I was at 100 plus to ship still. Found with Love Vintage. I don't ship excessively big things here on Whatnot. It's too expensive. Mary Lack, you got that giveaway. Congratulations. And a lot of sellers won't. Sellers that you do see shipping, and I am not saying all sellers who ship something big are cheating the system, but very frequently, sellers, especially sellers who don't believe in proper shipping, will ship big items and not put the proper weight or dimensions, because that's what gets you. It's not always the weight. The weight isn't always the thing that drives it up. It will incrementally increase the price. What gets you is the dimensional weight. It's the size of the box. So yes, dimensional weight is an absolute killer. The minute you go over 12 by 12 by 12, so if you multiply that out, what's that, 17, 28, 48? I can't do math in my head. Once you go over that 12 by 12 by 12, that's what starts to get you. And the minute you have anything which I think is over 22 inches on Whatnot, it's like a $30 upcharge instantly. It's the dimensional weight. You have to put your box sizes in. And that's where you'll start to really see the incremental, those prices start to jump up really high. That's why we don't sell big things on Whatnot for the most part. It costs too much. Last show, crazy price on shipping. Yes. So one of my, told you, you do win giveaways, Mary. That's awesome. I talk a lot about having parameters or boundaries around your sourcing, because it makes sourcing so much easier if you know what you won't source. So for me, when I'm sourcing, my sourcing decisions are very easy. Does it fit in a 12 by 12 box? Hold on. The seller has to pay way more for larger packages than this. Yes. I estimate dollar shipping sizing up from 82 and a buyer's charge 17 for. Yeah, because if the buyer pays for it, yes, what Liz likes, absolutely. And what Liz is saying here is, if you don't change your box sizes and your weights, and you're not honest about it, and you ship that out and the post office catches it, and the post office is getting on board here. They are cracking down. Your buyer ends up paying for it, and your buyer doesn't pay Whatnot rates. Your buyer pays USPS rates. That is a vast difference. Whatnot has a contract that gives us very, very low rates. But if you're going through the system, if the USPS has to adjust it because you didn't do your job as a seller, your buyer is going to get hit hard with charges as a custom ship profile. Yeah, the seller has to pay way more. Yeah, absolutely. I have like 3 things I've ever done as a custom profile. I firmly believe in Whatnot shipping. Now, as you get experienced, there are ways. I Love Discounts can talk about how they utilize a flat rate box with their jewelry. But again, they've been on this app long enough. They understood the basics before they went to something more in depth. I change it. I'll pay out of pocket for the overage. I agree 100%. I would much rather eat a shipping charge than to have an upset customer on the back end. 100%. It's just not good customer service. I have heard though, the rumor is floating through Whatnot that UPS and or FedEx, one or the other, but a service to allow us to ship larger packages is on the way. I've heard like 3 or 4 other sellers mention this. I don't know if it's true or not. I am fingers crossed that it is coming. I think that would be wonderful. Again, I also heard this rumor. I've heard it recent, but I heard it a year ago too, and I still hadn't seen it. So we'll see. Whatnot will give it to us when they can give it to us. I'm sure Whatnot knows that everybody asks for it. I'm sure they know that this is going to be a necessity for growth. Unless someone buys 16 auctions or more, we do not use flat rate boxes with jewelry. So there you go. Sold a big lamp. Oh, I'm sure it was. I've gotten to the point, I was talking about my sourcing boundaries. I go through a list. When I look at anything, I can almost walk into any antique store, thrift store, whatever. And every time I pick something up that I'm like, oh, I like that to sell, does it fit in a 12 by 12 box? If it's a yes, okay, keep going. Does it fit within one of my show themes? Yes, keep going. Does it fit within the price range I'm willing to pay? Yep, okay, I'm buying it. If any of those are a no, then I have to stop and pause and say, am I willing to make an exception for this item, and why would I make that exception? That's what goes through my head every single item I pick up. If it's bigger than 12 by 12, how much bigger? How much shipping? And am I willing to pay the excess shipping? If it doesn't fit within my show themes, I do have a mixed vintage show. Would this really generate enough bids for me to make it worth putting it in my mixed vintage show? Is it really that great of an item that it's worth buying at that for it? And then price too. It's like, okay, I can't start this at $1 because it's too much of a risk for me depending on the price. Could this be an item that qualifies for a reverse auction show? So it is and if they're like very clear cut yes or no answers, and that determines whether it goes in the cart or not. I do not stand in front of an item and contemplate. Should I get it? Should I not? Should I get it? Taking a picture, sending it to my best friend. Should I get this? Should I sell? No, you don't have to. Set some boundaries, and it's like boom, boom, boom. You know exactly what to buy and what not to buy. Makes life so much easier. Yes, thank you so much for sharing the show. So that's my sourcing boundaries. I was going to talk about ChatGPT and I got sidetracked. One of the things I have found amazing use is scheduling. Has anybody here throw something in the emoji in the chat if you have ever used ChatGPT to help you plan your weekly schedules? Now, I admit I'm type A, and I do list out a weekly and a daily schedule every single week and day. So we have a no. I'm not seeing anybody who's like using this for scheduling. Okay. One of the questions, yes, awesome. Mamas, this is great. So then you can back me up here. Who's going to get that? Mary Lack. Oh my gosh, it's so your lucky day. You were so true. I think you just talked this into existence with your prior comment on giveaways. Okay, so this is what I do. I get a lot of questions when I do chat shows. One of the common questions I hear is, how do you balance everything? Well, what's the secret? You know, we're always looking at that work-life balance, particularly for people who work a 9-to-5 job and do whatnot, have kids, have a spouse, have a house. You know, we have all these things going on in life, right? So I forever, my whole, professional life, I've always done weekly calendars. But I can sit there forever like, oh, no, maybe move this here. No, when can I do this? And stressing on the calendar. You can go into ChatGPT. You can say, I need you to create a weekly or a daily calendar for me. Already, I have to work 9 to 5 every day. Do not schedule anything else in the hours of 9 to 5 except work, with the exception of lunchtime. I can do something for 30 minutes during a lunch period. I want to work out for at least 30 minutes a day. Figure out when I work out. I will get out of, I wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. I go to bed at 10 p.m. every night. I want to, my kid has cheerleading on these days and these days between these hours, so I can't do anything between those hours. Put in your parameters. Put in what you know. Put in your look, I got to work. I got to take my kids here. I got to pick them up from school. I can't do this. Then say, I need you to help me figure out, when do I do meal prep? When do I take photos for my shows? When can I do show prep? Put in your whatnot schedule and say, these are the things I can't figure out where to put in my schedule. Create me a weekly schedule. Just try it. You'll be amazed. You will be amazed. And now my weekly scheduling takes like a couple of minutes. I love it. I print it out or I transfer it to my little calendar thing. It works like a charm. Times when I've been like, well, how do I do this? How do I fit this in? Takes that all away. Just take my word for it. Try it. If you are like a planner type person, you will love the results. I never thought about doing this. And actually somebody in my 9 to 5 mentioned to me that they do this. And I'm like, well, I got to try it. This sounds good. So do we have people here that like live and die by a schedule? Are you all like fly by the seat of your pants, get up and see what happens for the day people? You're one or the other. Are you a scheduler or just see what happens person?
No schedules.
Schedule. My daughter helps me, my husband. She is so busy and never home. Now I have a schedule where everything is done and she goes home.
There you go.
Yes.
Noel's world. Let's fly.
Every day is completely different. Yes, fly and see what happens, but I'm not a procrastinator. So what I like yesterday, I meant to buy 5 cans, but they gave extra. I bought 32 gallons. Oh my gosh, but for the same price. So there you go. I live and die by my schedule, but I couldn't do it any other way. And now there's flexibility. If it means that, hey, something comes up and the schedule is like, forget it for the rest of the day because something came up, I allow that to happen. You have to be okay with allowing that to happen. And it took me a long time because I used to get very stressed if what's this going to throw me off my schedule. So I've learned over the years to allow just life sometimes happens. But I find with everything that I'm doing, and I'm not like making it like, oh, you're so great, look at what you're doing. It's not that. I just have a very busy life and I have a lot that I want to accomplish. And whatnot is almost a full-time job, just like my full-time job is. and then you add in all the other responsibilities. I have a lot that I'm creating. There are things I haven't brought yet to Whatnot that I am working on that's going to roll out in 3 months, in 6 months. It's going to roll out next year. So I have to figure out, when do I fit all of this in and still clean my house? And it was getting to a point where I'm like, my house isn't looking too great, and I can't stand that. So I don't have a 9 to 5, but I fly by the seat of my pants. And I procrastinate a lot. So I have to, I work, the way I work is very well by, okay, for 20 minutes, you're going to do this. For 15 minutes, you're going to do that. And then it helps keep me focused, little chunks at a time. I've been doing my house cleaning like that. I know it has nothing to do with Whatnot, but it's been working. I'll take 15 or 20 minutes, a block of time, and I'm like, all right, I might not get the whole thing done, but I can knock out a good chunk in 15 or 20 minutes, and then it makes me feel accomplished. Because what was happening was, oh yeah, I'll clean the bathroom tomorrow. And then tomorrow I get busy all day, and I'm like, oh, I got to get the shipping out. That's urgent. I don't want to get dinged. I got to do this. I'll do it tomorrow. And then it wouldn't get done, and then I would get stressed. So this has solved it all. It's working wonderful for me, and I love it. You don't have a 9 to 5, fly by seat of your pants. Yeah, we said that. I love discounts. Congratulations. You got that giveaway.
Congratulations.
All right, y'all. We are close to the 8 o'clock hour. Before we go, is there any, I have a couple more giveaways. Do I? No, I don't. That's it. I gave them all away, everything I programmed, so that's good. What else? Anything else to talk about before we go find somebody to raid? I don't know who's on still. I don't have notes. I Love Discounts going to get mad at me. I know you see my paper over here, I Love Discounts. This show, if you guys don't know, I started this show, I don't know, 2 months back or so? I don't know. To learn how to talk without notes. I am a very not scripted. I like notes. Notes bring me comfort. When I do my Friday shows, I will never do a Friday 2-hour show without notes. Will have my notes because there's key points that I want to make sure that I'm covering. I get very nervous. They do keep me on task. So, but I found to the point that I got so reliant on my notes that I would get very tongue-tied, very nervous, and I felt that I couldn't just chit-chat. I couldn't just get on and chit-chat with people. In real life, I'm a very introverted person. In real life, I am not a social butterfly, and I found that hard. So I started these shows. The original intent of these shows was to come on here without notes and talk about what you want to talk about, maybe have a couple ideas in my head and go with it. I got to the point where I felt I was doing that okay. I'm still working on it. But what I do now is just list a couple high-level things. One page with just a few bullet points of, if things get slow, here's a couple things that you can start talking about. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Introvert here too. You know what? It is a new world, a different world coming on a social selling site when you are an introvert. I'm the type, if I go to a party perfect example, next week I'm going to a conference, not one that I'm putting on for my work, but it is a professional conference where I know 2 people at this conference. It's going to be full of thousands of people. I'm expected to network. I'm expected to go to dinner with people I don't know. I'm expected to eat all my other meals at a table and just kind of walk up and start talking to people. That is not me. The thought of doing that is like, I'm already starting to prepare myself. It is very frightening, and I'm already preparing myself. This is part of my job. I know it's part of my job. I know what the expectation is, and I agreed to that when I took the job. Find the vendors. That's right. The vendors will always talk to you. Perfect. I love that, Millicent. They will, and they're easy to talk to because they're trying harder than you are.
Hey, Millie, we came up with an idea you might like. I'll send you a DM later.
Oh, yeah, Millicent, we got something to show you. Noel will message you. So the thought of that scares me. However, how to relate that to Whatnot? It's just you. It's just you in your room. I was really scared too. I didn't show my face. I only showed my hands. I didn't know what to say on camera. I was incredibly awkward. I'm still get to places where I'm awkward on Whatnot, but it gets easier. All I can say is the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Doesn't mean you're going to be, let's go in front of 1 million people all the time. No, it doesn't mean that. But the more you practice, this is a performance. This is leadership. There's, like, we call it a leadership performance. You get up here and you just talk, you sell, you have that confidence in you. It's not about, do you like the social interaction or the interaction is draining? It's about knowing who you are and what you have to offer and being confident in that. And that gets you over that introvert mindset of being on Whatnot. So I take that. I take what I learned from Whatnot sometimes and I'll apply it to my real world. Now it's draining. I'll go to that conference and I'll walk out my hotel room in the morning and I'll be like, all right, here you go. The next 10 hours you're on. And I just walk in with a smile on my face like I own the place, right? Inside I'm dying, but that's okay. Would you love what you do? I do love what I do. When you love what you do, it does. It does, yes. When you love what you do, absolutely it helps. I can be an extrovert as needed, but people wear me out afterwards. That's how I am, an introverted. I'm not even the extrovert. I mean, I do it. I've learned to do it through business over the years. I have zero problem. If I'm teaching particularly on a topic that I'm passionate about, like what 10 Mile Studio says, something you love, if I'm teaching about accounting or taxes or business, I frequently get up in front of rooms of 300 to 400 people and will speak on a stage and giving speeches. I have zero issue with that whatsoever. I am totally okay with that because it's something I'm passionate about. But when it's just me and I've got to go into a room and sit at a table of people I don't know and eat a meal with them, that's what freaks me out. And then like Mary Lack said, afterwards, I need the quiet. I need to recharge. Even like during the days, I'm on Teams calls all day for work, doing my job. And then my 15-year-old would come home and I'm like, I can't do any more words. I'm just done. Like I need the quiet. I need to recharge. So that's just the life of a introvert. But I think it's not an excuse. We can get over it. I've told the story before. I could be completely alone 24/7 days a week. And so could I. So can I. I love discounts. Lysandra, so can I. I could be alone and I'm okay. I'm not the one who has 15 million friends. I haven't been to 1 million weddings in my lifetime because all my friends got married. I surround myself with very few people, and it's okay if I don't see them every day or don't talk to them every day. Like I'm okay with that as long as we have that connection and I can like text you or call you at a moment's notice. I don't need a bunch of people. I'm my very small group and I'm totally where my husband on the other side, my husband is a social butterfly. He says he's not, but he is. He will talk to anybody. And I'm like, he always tells me, he's like, just pick up the phone and call them. Like he'll pick up the phone and call Tony or Lysandra from I Love Discounts at a moment's notice. And I'm like, I'll text Lysandra. I'll text her. And he's like, just call her. I'm like, I'll text. Like, it's okay. I don't need to call. I'll text you, because that's my comfort level, right? Yes, I love the COVID isolation. 700 people at our wedding. They stopped counting. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Lysandra's like, I don't answer the phone anyways. Yeah, I am total a text person all the way. Like, I don't care if I don't understand your tone or if you don't understand mine, I'm going to text you. To the point where...
I love discounts. I'm going to start doing smoke signals for you.
I am even that mom. I didn't do play dates for my kids. I am not going to go make a friend just so you can have somebody to play with because that is incredibly uncomfortable to me. I will take you to gymnastics or cheerleading. And when you make friends, you manage your friendships. Like that is like how my whole sums me up as a mother right there. And in excess of emojis. I was going to talk about something. What was I going to talk about? Oh, when I was talking about teaching accounting and stuff, I wanted to wrap up really quick. Monday night, we had our first Ledger to Leadership. So if you attended, thank you so much for being there. We had, 40 to 60 people throughout the show hanging out. Ledger to Leadership, if you haven't been around and haven't heard me talk about it, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Is an accounting course I am doing for resellers. It is on Whatnot every Monday at 6:30 p.m. I'm trying to keep it to a 1 hour, no longer show. It's open to anybody to come and join. And we are literally for 12 weeks teaching accounting. I am going through, last week we covered the accounting equation, which was just, let's set the stage, let's set the base. This Monday, we're going to talk about debits and credits and how they fit into the equation. So they build on each other. And we're going to go through 12 weeks. And at the end of 12 weeks, you're going to be able to create a set of basic very basic financial statements for yourself, and then understand what to do with them. How do you interpret them? How do you use them as a CEO to make decisions in your business? And I was really happy with the way it went. I was particularly happy on Monday night. Look, it's accounting. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I get that. I geek out over it. I get super excited about it. I know a lot of other people don't. And that's the reality of it, of being an accountant or a CPA. That's perfectly fine with me. But to have as many people that were there interacting, we go through exercises where I'm saying, okay, what is the answer to this? It is a class. And people were answering in the chat. There was interaction. I felt so good at the end of it that, like, you know what? That is the way that I wanted. I couldn't have asked for more in that hour. We're not selling anything. We're talking accounting. So we're going to do it again every Monday night. We have 11 weeks left. If you guys haven't been there, check it out. And if the time doesn't work, it's on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you so much. Look at this. Great minds think alike. Thank you, The Bird Theory. It is on YouTube if you want to see it. YouTube is the same name, Zoe's Treasures. I will do a very quick plug, not a big long one. In the bin right now, we do have books and PDFs that follow along with what I'm teaching. They are not necessary. I never want anybody to feel like you have to spend money to be able to learn something. You can come and learn. You can bring a pencil and paper and follow right along. So you don't have to buy it. However, if you are the type that wants the notes, wants the exercises, wants the worksheets, there is a PDF and a book in the chat. They look like this. They're called Ledger to Leadership. They are there if it's something that you feel benefits you. But again, you can just come on Mondays or you can watch the YouTube and you can see, and it's very basic. Are you going to be a CPA at the end of this? No. Are you going to be college level accounting? No. But will you be able to understand the transactions in your business, how they're recorded in a proper accounting language? Maybe have a little more base to talk to your bookkeeper or CPA? Yes, 100% you will. So that's the goal of it. Well, Mary, yeah, check it out. It's pretty cool. All right, you guys, with that, I think we're going to go find somebody to raid. Let's see, The Bird Theory. My husband hates numbers. He walked by, stopped, and stood over my shoulder for like 5 minutes. Oh, see, that's so amazing. That makes me feel so good. And we talk a lot, like it is accounting, but it's not all like math and numbers. Like we talk some theory. I'm going to tell you the why behind it. We're giving specific whatnot examples. This is written for whatnot resellers. Like it's written to be, I really want it to relate to your business, not just here's some accounting talk, right? And it's not all numbers. We went over a few numbers just to drill down some concepts last week, but it was a lot of theory. It was a lot of, this is what the accounting equation is. This is why we use it. This is how it helps you. Because we had to lay the foundation. It was the first one. We had to lay that base. Now this week we're doing credits and debits. You know why I love it? Again, I'm going to go back to my scheduling and my type A personality. I like when everything fits in nice little boxes. I like things that line up nice and neat. 14 years in banking, last 6 years. Oh, cool. I used to audit a bank, Noel's World, so I'm very familiar with the banking industry. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out on this Wednesday morning. We are going to go raid somebody. I have no idea who's on, so let's see. And hopefully I'll see some of you tonight in the jewelry show. And if not, Friday morning's live seller collection, where we're going to talk business and tax. Friday, we're talking about community over transactions and how to properly account for your giveaways and your discounts and how they affect your taxes. That's what we're talking about on Friday. All right, let's go see who's on. Let's see. TBC Productions. Let's go see TBC. I like TBC Productions. Okay. Bye, everybody.